In this video we are going to look at how quantum reflexive processes and HOLONs lead to an explanation for cosmic consciousness, an absolute sentient power, and a panpsychist explanation for the universe. But we will also prepare for the penultimate video, where we'll have a look at how this same system explains the universe in pantheist and panentheist terms, and we will find explanations for the nature of spirituality and religions. We'll also see the limit to worldly scientific investigation. Earlier in the series we talked about these diagrams. On the left-hand side of this diagram there is a single quantum reflexive process that consists of a pair of oscillating quantum electric charges. In the centre is a quantum process field, built of a vast number of these quantum processes. On the right is the same quantum reflexive process field, but showing HOLON forms made of quantum processes with defined closed boundaries. We now want to look at an infinite quantum process field. We've added 4 arrows to our representation of a field to indicate that we are talking about an infinite field. This diagram represents a formless infinite universe, an infinite reflexive process field. The outward pointing arrows represent the fact that this is an infinite universe. It has no boundaries. No matter how big you think infinity is, it is even bigger. In HOLON terms, this is a boundless HOLON. It is in fact the only HOLON without a boundary. Every other HOLON, every other entity, real or imagined, is a HOLON within this boundless universal HOLON. Besides having no boundaries, this infinite reflexive process field has some very interesting properties. For instance, no matter where anything is within an infinite universe, that anything is at the centre of the universe. The truth of this is easily demonstrated. Extend your arms to point left and right. Imagine the edge of the universe is a vast distance away in both directions. It is possible that you are not at the centre of that universe. However, if the universe is truly infinite in both directions, then you cannot help but be at its centre. Now move to somewhere else and do the same again. If you are in an infinite universe, then you are at its centre, even though at a local level you are in a different place. So we see that every single part of the universe, every single quantum reflexive process, every single HOLON, which includes you, is all the time at the centre of the universe. And we want to go on to discuss one of the great properties of this infinite reflexive process universe. We want to talk about the fact that it is an interfunctional universe. What do we mean by this? In part 3 of this series we developed this diagram that illustrates the interfunctionality of infinite fields. All the apparently different fields are in fact interfunctions of the central master quantum reflexive process field. So looking at the right-hand side of this diagram, we see that the infinite three-dimensional space field exists interfunctionally with an infinite sentience field, among many others. But what is infinite sentience? How do we get a handle on it? Well, here in blue we are representing the quantum sentience field of the infinite universe. The small arrows around the perimeter of the disk signify that the sentience field is infinite in extent and interfunctional with space, which is also a part of the master field. In earlier videos in this series, we recognize that quantum awareness builds HOLON awareness, and that as we are HOLONs, human consciousness can be viewed as complex awareness. So consciousness, in the sense of that by which we know, is synonymous with sentience and awareness. So in the same way that we build up human consciousness from adding together HOLON sentience, we can add together all the sentience quanta in the infinite field to build a HOLON of infinite awareness that we can call cosmic sentience, cosmic awareness, or cosmic consciousness. We are immediately struck with the realization that human consciousness is incredibly minuscule when compared to cosmic consciousness. Now, when we developed the theory of mind earlier in the series, we found it analytically very convenient to recognize that all HOLONs have their own center of consciousness. So now we need to ask, where is the center of consciousness of the universal, infinite, cosmic consciousness HOLON? Here, in line with our earlier convention, the small red circle represents the center of consciousness of the cosmic consciousness HOLON. It represents everything that there is to be known, everything that can be known. It represents infinite awareness, infinite sentience. It knows everything that there is to know. We can simply describe the infinite universal HOLON as all-knowing. Now, although in this diagram we have represented cosmic consciousness as being in one place, we have to remember that in an infinite universe, everywhere is the center of the universe. So this universal center of consciousness can be placed everywhere. And this is what we are illustrating here. Now, in the theory of mind that we illustrated earlier in the series, we made use of the idea that HOLONs have a reflexive self, a decision-making center. So here on the left, the small purple disk inside the blue disk represents a local view of the cosmic reflexive self. This cosmic decision-making center is able to make decisions based on its cosmic consciousness. Its all-knowingness gives it a uniquely powerful position. It is the only HOLON that can make perfect decisions without any unintended consequences. Every other HOLON is limited and makes decisions with incomplete knowledge. These decisions and their unintended consequences can be seen as making mistakes. On the right is a full purple disk, representing the fact that the cosmic reflexive self is also everywhere else in the universe. As a consequence of this, the center of consciousness of the universe is also everywhere. So on the right we have also shown a full purple disk, representing the fact that the cosmic reflexive self is everywhere. Again, this is a consequence of the center of the infinite universe being everywhere. With this diagram, we are going to look at the consequences of cosmic consciousness and the cosmic reflexive self occupying the whole infinite universe. We have already seen that the cosmic HOLON, by virtue of its cosmic consciousness, its infinite sentience, is all-knowing throughout the universe. But we've also seen that the universal HOLON's reflexive self is also present throughout the universe. So when the universal HOLON makes a decision, it is a decision with absolute power. So we have a universal HOLON that is all-knowing, all-powerful, and present everywhere in the universe. These are properties of what Eugene Halliday, in his book Reflexive Self-Consciousness, calls absolute sentient power, referring to the absolute sentience or absolute knowledge, and absolute power, absolute deciding ability. It is interesting to observe that the cosmic mind of the universal HOLON is in keeping with the philosophy of panpsychism, where mind is seen as a fundamental feature of the universe and is present everywhere. But this is not the end of the story. Let's have a look at how the human mind relates to the cosmic mind. On the left we are illustrating universal cosmic consciousness and the local cosmic reflexive self. In the centre we have our usual representation of a human mind. When we combine these diagrams, we see that our own human subconscious mind can be viewed as a subset of local cosmic consciousness, and our conscious wakeful mind as a tiny subset of our subconscious mind. It is not surprising, therefore, that when human beings make decisions, that there are often many unintended consequences. We are extremely prone to mistakes. So, is panpsychism the answer? Well, maybe not. In the 11th and penultimate video in the series, we are going to look at a HOLON explanation of spirituality and religions, and we will see where the limits are to scientific investigation and where faith in God begins.